Okay, this is session 3, Introduction to Night and Day Worship and Prayer. And in this session, we're going to look at Isaiah 62, verse 2 and 3. Now, in the last session, we talked about how God's zeal for Zion is not going away, how it's something he's very passionate about, and how we need to align our hearts with his zeal. Now, let's take a look at Isaiah 62, verse 2 and verse 3, and see the ends that the Lord wants to accomplish by his own zeal. So Isaiah 62, verse 2 says this: "The Gentiles shall see your righteousness, and all kings your glory. You shall be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord will name. You shall also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem in the hand of your God." What a startling statement. The Lord says this, that all the nations of the earth, all the Gentile nations are going to see the righteousness of Israel. There's a day coming that the Lord's zeal for Zion is going to produce a bright, burning righteousness in Israel to such an extent that all the nations of the earth are going to recognize it. And it even says all the kings of the earth, not just a few people in the population, but all the kings of the earth will see the glory of the Lord on Israel. This is a massive, massive shift from what we see in the earth right now. There's so many nations that are aligned against Israel. And what we see in Israel right now is a lack of the glory of the Lord. In fact, the Jewish nation at this time is only about 10% practicing. We talk about Jews around the earth, that are more than just social Jews. Only about 10% are practicing, and even a smaller percentage of them are conservatives, where they would actually read the Torah and believe the Torah. But the Lord says this, that all the nations will see the righteousness of Israel, and all the kings of the nations will see the glory of the Lord on Israel. And then the Lord says, I'm going to rename you. And we're going to find out about that in the next session, the new name that the Lord is going to give Israel. And the Lord says, I'm going to make you a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem in the hand of your God. This is stunning, because what the Lord is saying is, I'm going to cause you to not just burn and be a burning and shining lamp like we talked about in the last session. I'm going to cause you to be so beautified with the righteousness of God, so burning and alive with the holiness of God, that you would be able to even beautify me. He goes, I'm going to make you a gem. You know, that's what gemstones are for. That's what crowns are for. Kings, they wear crowns, to show that they are the authority, that they're the potentate. They're the one that's been dubbed the one that's in charge, the king. But it's also as a sign of the beauty, the royalty of that king. And they use jewels and gems, diadems, crowns to beautify themselves. Now think about this. The Lord is the definition of beauty. He's not just the most beautiful one. He is that, but he's the definition of beauty. Everything that would be considered beautiful is only beautiful because the Lord was firstly beautiful. Now, if the Lord is going to say to Israel, I'm going to cause you, Israel, to be so beautified, so glorious, so wonderful to behold, that you would even be a diadem in my own hand. He's speaking of this. He's saying there's a work I'm going to do in Israel that is going to completely blow everyone's mind. It's going to shock everyone. I'm going to create such a turnaround of righteousness in the land of Israel. They're going to love my son so much. It's going to be a shock. It will be the most beautiful thing the earth has ever seen. He goes, you're going to be a crown of glory in my hand. You're going to be a royal diadem in the hand of God. And when I see these passages along with verse 1, I feel the heart of the Lord. I feel his desires, his zeal, how much he longs for Israel, how much he plans to see her changed. And it causes my heart to leap into wanting to partner with God. I didn't grow up with some sort of picture or vision of Israel. I wasn't even saved as a young person. I got saved in my teenage years, my later teenage years, and I didn't understand anything about Israel. I knew there was like pray for the peace of Jerusalem, but it was through reading passages like this one, and there's many others that talk about God's desire for Israel and his plan to see them burn in righteousness. It's through reading these passages and understanding the heart of the Lord that my heart began to come alive, and I desired to cry out and to pray for Israel's salvation, to see Israel beautified the way that the Lord said that they would be. And so I want to ask you to consider God's desires, his zeal for Israel, but also his plan to beautify Israel. In the next session, we're going to look at this phrase where he says, you shall be called by a new name. We're going to break that down and understand even at a deeper level what's in the heart of the Lord for Israel. So I want to encourage you, ask the Lord, show me what's in your heart for the nation of Israel, your desires to see them burning in righteousness.